because
I leave and then I'll come back.
No. Stay there. Stay there.
We'll make it
There's
as
a
awkward
few
as possible.
people who are actually fans of yours. They'd like to see you. One or two, right?
Here, I'll just go back in.
You're going to the lectern. He's just going downstairs. I just want to say to you all, thank you so much for being here. Love you all. Love you all. Long swing.
Mark Shepard! Only Rob and I couldn't remember his name.
It was on the tip of our tongue. It was like Michael...
Marshawn Lynch. You know what I just found out backstage?
No.
Is that this is not one of those BS things where we're doing a thing. They've changed the way that people ask you questions, and now it's a lottery, which means to ask Misha Collins a question, which, by the way, I've done it, and it's fantastic.
You have to be a gambler.
It's like you have to gamble and you have to win some kind of sweepstakes. So it just...
I'm still waiting my number.
Rob and I are like, it just adds to the fun and stress of the entire experience.
Is that really true? It's a lottery?
Yeah, look on the screen. These are selected Misha questions, attendees. You have to, like, Michaela Mack, you're number 1, baby. Check you out.
Wait, so is gambling even legal here?
It isn't.
Is that?
They're so high, they don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's legal or not, man. This is just how it goes. You have taken the entire convention system and turned it on its ear, man. Check you out.
Where does that expression "turning it on its ear" come from?
Well, what was the interestingly, in the Elizabethan era, there was a guy. In the Elizabethan era,
It was a very difficult time because everyone had a
there's
list.
a man named Ethan.
Elizabethan era.
Yes, that's it. That's the backstory.
Well,
in the Elizabethan era.
Maybe if you tipped an elephant over, it would land on its ear.
I see.
It has to do with elephants.
Or theoretically, so would we if we just didn't protect ourselves.
True.
Thanks for the etymology lesson, guys. That was very helpful.
You're welcome.
Do you need us out here just because it's fun?
Yeah. Yes, I do. I need you to explain this lottery system to me first.
I just think it's great the way you sort of make them earn your moment. I mean, this is obviously your idea, right? So you've created this.
It's funny that you say that because in the past it used to be people would start lining up like an hour in advance.
Right.
And those, who had, circulation problems or things like that, they would faint in the line.
Right.
And I liked that. It felt like people were...
They were making a certain sacrifice. This seems like a lazy way out.
You
to
did.
me.
Misha used to
Just
always come
relying
off.
on dumb luck.
He'd always come off stage and go, 5 down, guys. Up top, who's got me? 5 fell. Boom.
That's weird. I feel like we don't have very many people with circulation problems in our line.
You know what's funny is when we do a panel before Misha, we'll go through our line, and next up is actually a Misha question, and you're like, what do you want, sweetheart? She's like, no.
I don't even know who you guys are.
They wash their hands of us. They're like, no, I'm not wrong. But this way, you really make them grovel and earn it, and I think that's neat. I think that's neat. So who here put their name in the lottery? So how many of you have so far won the lottery?
Well, they're on the sides, right?
How many of you have not won the lottery?
Yeah!
Yeah.
Losers unite.
Good luck with that. Okay. All right. Anyway, Misha, good luck with your new design that you hand designed and are now instituting tonight. I think it's awesome. Ladies and
Thank you,
gentlemen,
thank you.
Misha Collins.
Be careful back there, you guys. You guys, I gotta tell you, like, we've been hanging out in the green room, the band and a couple of the actors, and it is full on, like, rock star pandemonium back there in the green room. And I don't know if this whole, like, getting on Sirius XM or whatever, did you hear about that? Like, Loudon Swain was on Sirius this morning. And it's definitely, you can see it's definitely gone to their heads. Like, they've gone full rock star. It's actually kind of debaucherous and a little disgusting, frankly. For example, we were in the green room just now, all of us sitting in a circle. We put the chairs in a circle so we could all see one another. And we were talking about different methodologies for making fruit leather at home. So that kind of shit is really going down back there. It's pretty hardcore. Yeah. It just makes me sad though, seeing that, because it's just like, how long are they gonna last? You know? They're just getting too close to the sun, and we were talking about canning beets. You know, and it's great, and they're like living life to the fullest and all that, but they're gonna burn out like that. It's sad seeing that. How are you guys? Who was that specifically? It's good to know that there's a friend out there. I hate to do this, but I think we are going to have a little bit of female wrestling here. I can only handle so many, so... I'm a big fan of natural selection, so this is how... those of you who haven't been to a convention before, that's how it works. Let's seriously fight. Let's actually do it. It'd be great if there's like newcomers to conventions come and they're like, what is that little ring with the ropes around it on the side of the stage for? And from this point forward, during panels, there are women fighting one another in a little cage. Actually, I think that would be a big hit. This is where new good ideas come from. So you guys are the lucky ones, huh? You too. Have you, those of you who are in line, have you always felt like you were lucky, or? No, there's yes and no. It's about 50-50 split. Okay. Well, for those of you who are new to being lucky, congratulations. Sorry guys to rub your noses in it like that. Do you want to ask a question?
Am I first?
Yeah.
All right. First off, hi. I just want to say my mom calls you her best buddy, and so just pass that message along for you.
Is she a good wrestler?
I've never personally wrestled her, but so I guess I was just wondering.
You've never wrestled your mother?
Is that something that people do? Have you
Yeah,
wrestled your mother?
I thought everyone wrestled with their moms.
You should probably talk to someone about that. That's concerning.
Now you're making me question my whole childhood. She tapped out so many times.
So my question is, we saw a lot of different pictures this year for Halloween from Jerry and Jensen's family, and I was just wondering what you guys did for
Did I
Halloween
not
this
post
year.
any photos of my family?
No.
I'm such a dick. Hold on, this is my third iPhone 6S. That phone came out a month ago, so I've broken 2 of them already, which means not a lot of my photos are on here, so hold on Yeah, will you help me? Jim, you did take a lot of pictures in the meet and greet. Good for you. There's about 40 of them. Hold on, this will just take an hour. Oh, there's one. I can't show this, because later when she grows up, she's going to be like, Dad, I hate you. For example, you showed people this photo. I'll show you privately.
She's older.
So she
So
would get
cute,
mad,
but She would
right?
be like really pissed.
Yeah.
But that's adorable.
Thanks for helping me vet that one.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So they were very adorable, and we made costumes. I had some help from the costume department on Supernatural. Like, they made the costumes. But I was being sort of the proactive. I cut out the fabric, and so it wasn't terribly well. So my strategy for making a costume. So Mason wanted to be a purple cheetah, which you can buy fabric on Amazon, purple cheetah fabric, and then I just laid her on the fabric and cut around her, because I assume that's how you make, like, I don't know. Isn't that how Calvin Klein makes stuff? Like, anyway, so I cut around her, and then I did 2 of those, and the idea was that would be the costume, and brought it in, and they sort of were like, well, we'll work with this. But I also made her a tail, and that took a little bit of work. There was like some infrastructure in it, like pipe cleaners to make it have some solidity and extra fabric inside, and I made it like 2.5 times longer than she is tall. And so it kind of had to be spiraled up and tied back again up to the back of her pants. Anyway, it was pouring rain, and the tail got so heavy that her pants kept falling down to her ankles. And that was the picture you saw of just bare butt. So it was kind of like an assy Halloween. I was very crafty, and I made my son wanted to be a blue elephant. So I made him this glittery blue elephant mask that was too painful to wear. So he could only put it on like for about a minute, and then he took it off. And so it was an assy, sort of disappointment-laden Halloween. I remember distinctly when I was 3, I remember that was the first Halloween that I remember, and I wanted to be a turtle. And my mom made me a turtle costume out of a cardboard box, but the way it was constructed, I don't know if you are familiar with the species, but turtles crawl on all 4s, and so we designed it like that, but it was designed in such a way that I could not physically stand up. I had to crawl. So I made it to the immediate next door neighbor's house, and that was it. That was my entire trick-or-treating expedition. And in a weird way, I feel like I'm sort of repeating that family karma with my kids. And my wife wanted to buy the costumes. She was like, we'll just buy the stuff online because we're busy. And I was like, we're not too busy to make our kids miserable. Was my feeling. So, and we're not too busy to have, the crew on Supernatural make the costumes for us. And then I feel like anyway.
Hola.
Hi.
Okay, so Mark didn't like this question. Maybe you can answer it for me. If you
Wait,
were
I'm
to
not gonna
write-
like the question. Why am I?
I don't know.
I used to be so good at sitting in chairs. Okay, did you say I'm not going to like the question?
Well, Mark didn't. He didn't answer it for me.
Oh, Mark didn't like it. Fuck Mark. All right. What do you got?
If you had to write the Supernatural spin-off, what would be your idea? And gonna just push this in, Jody Mills.
The new spin-off series opens on the incineration of Jody Mills' body on a funeral pyre. Is this working for you?
No, I was thinking Jody Mills and maybe kind of like a buddy cop.
Oh, buddy cop. Okay.
Actors.
Okay. It feels to me like you're leading the witness right now.
Yes.
Why don't you write the spin-off and then get back to me?
Yeah, if you can fund it for me.
I think there's a good spin-off in Catherine Newton somehow. There's like, I think she'd be a good headliner for a spin-off. I think it would be good to have, speaking of Mark Shepard, I think that it would be a cool feature in a long-running series to have a taxidermied Crowley somewhere in the corner of one of the main sets that are used on the show.
It's one way to
Wouldn't
get
that
me
be
ready.
cool? Yeah. Go sit down. Hello.
Hi. So Castiel might be the most efficient Netflix user ever because he doesn't need to eat or sleep or use the restroom. That being said, I did the math. It will take him 5 days and 13 hours to watch all of Star Trek, the original series. I feel like it would be very helpful if he watched that because he might learn something from Spock, Kirk, and Bones' relationships. Do you think that would help him with dealing with the Winchesters?
Wow, that
He's
was
still processing that question. He's gonna go, no. Next question.
Hi, Misha.
Hi, how are you?
Good, I'm doing great. My friend Regina, she frantically texted me and said that she has to know what Cass is.
Is this one of those, like, my friend has a question for you?
No, she really did. She loves you to death. As I do, of course.
But she's imaginary.
Well, she's from the internet, so I guess maybe.
I take it back.
Maybe.
I've told this story at a convention recently, so those of you who were at that convention, I apologize, but there's probably not that many of you. My daughter, who's 3 and very, very sweet, like she's the sweet one. She gives everybody a hug and a kiss when they leave, and, you know, Daddy, I want to give you a hug, and she's always like making what she calls nests, cozy nests that she just curls up in, and she's just a little puddle of sweetness. And she has a few imaginary friends, one of whom is named Bobby. And she said, Dad, Bobby said a bad word. I said, oh, what did she say? And she said, Bobby said fuck. So I choked her and killed her. That is verbatim what she said.
Regina's much nicer.
Yeah. And I was like, Mason, that is fucked up. Bobby's a boy's name. What's wrong with you? Anyway, you mentioned imaginary friends. Actually, I mentioned them, but whatever.
Since Cass has been in the bunker doing Netflix binges, what is he wearing? Is he wearing sweatpants? Is he wearing honeybee pajamas? Like, he can't be wearing the trench coat and Netflix binging. Everybody knows you can't do that.
He's wearing Sam's underwear.
What's
He's in
that?
Sam's room.
Did somebody say deep throat?
Dean's robe?
Somebody said Dean's robe, and I heard deep throat. I do imagine that Cass is spending a fair amount of time playing dress up. I mean, you do, biologically speaking, Cass is not encumbered by a lot of the things that humans are, and probably would be able to do marathon Netflix viewing in a way that we can't. But I think psychologically you need to have breaks, and you need to just go into other people's rooms and try on their clothes.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks. Hi.
Hi.
Sorry, my question has nothing to do with supernatural. It's
What?
mostly...
No, that's
So
disgusting.
not allowed, right? Yeah. I'm curious as what you guys do on your downtime. Like, do you practice yoga? And if so, what is your favorite yoga posture?
My favorite yoga position is 69. Wait a minute, I think I misunderstood the question. I do occasional yoga. I'm not like an ardent yoga practitioner. My brother is very deep into yoga. And he took this picture that's on the internet. Have any of you seen it? It's a picture that I think I put on Twitter or something. I don't know. But it's him doing Yamanyasana. I don't know the names of any yoga positions. Whenever I'm in a yoga class and they say, all right, it's time for vinyasana or whatever, I'm like, watching everybody else. I know downward dog. I'm pretty good at that. I'm not bragging or anything, but no, I'm gonna do what my brother did. So this is the pose.
Oh God.
But he did that standing on one foot on my shoulder. And our uncle was there with a camera and he took a picture. But the thing is, my brother went like, he was like this. I was holding his hands. And then he fell instantly. Like there was no moment when he held the pose. And my uncle snapped a photo, and frozen in time, in perpetuity, is this. Him just standing perfectly erect, totally centered and balanced, which he then subsequently used as his like internet profile pictures, because he's like, look how badass this was. It was a single frame of a fall that happened to look good. Thank you.
Hello, Misha.
Hi.
My name's Darcy.
Hi, Darcy.
I don't mean to continue the Netflix theme questions, but
you've been.
I'm going to.
You are going.
Yeah.
So it does seem a little bit intentional then.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But so since Cass is binge watching on Netflix, I was going to ask what shows you would like to binge watch or you have binge watched, whether on Netflix or not.
House of Cards. Game of Thrones. Vampire Diaries. What else? Doctor Who. I really like Doctor Who, but I've watched episodes kind of weirdly, sporadically, and not as a continuous through line. So that's bad.
That's confusing.
I'm getting a lot of very judgmental. Sherlock, I have been binge watched. I watched. It's a good show, and it's got a great title. Orphan Black. Thank you. That was very impressive. One person was like, "It's Orphan Black." So I watched the first two seasons, I think, in a very bingey sort of way, but then I've fallen behind on that. Watching TV in our house is hard because I just don't have a lot of time, it feels like, and I do weird things about TV, like I put it in my schedule, watch TV.
Understandable.
And then TV time rolls around and I don't do it, and I feel like, I messed up, I didn't do my have-tos. I fall behind on Supernatural sometimes.
No.
Never, ever, please tell anyone that. That's a secret. But it's little small children make it challenging to do anything, and then traveling and whatnot also make it difficult. Also, I was raised in a house that we didn't have a television, and we weren't encouraged i.e. allowed to watch television. So I kind of, the part of your brain that forms when you watch television didn't form for me. So I don't have a lot of attention, generally speaking, for television. I can't do more than like an hour at a time, and I'm done. So it takes me a while to watch stuff. When I was little, television was such a novelty for me. And by little, I mean like up until the age of like 35. That when I went over to somebody's house and there was a TV on, I know that a lot of people have an environment in which there's sort of a TV on all the time and it becomes almost white noise. But for me, I was a moth to the flame, and I couldn't hear everything else shut out. And I remember instances where people were like, Misha, hey! Yo, you! And I'm just like glued to the TV and I can't take my eyes off. When I was 5, I wandered around the neighborhood and found a house that had a satellite, and they had a goat and a satellite in the front yard. And I first befriended the goat and then inquired about the satellite and ended up spending the day in these relatives. They were not relatives. I was going to say relative strangers. They were strangers. House watching their TV. And my mother called the police because she had no idea where her child had wandered off to. And I was just stuck to the TV and couldn't peel myself away. Hunger eventually is what brought me home. So anyway, thanks for asking.
Thank you so much.
Hi.
Hello.
So my question for you is, we hear a lot of stories about the relationships between the cast on Supernatural, and we know that there's a lot of work that goes in from the crew, and they're very important to making the production happen. And so I wanted to hear if you have any stories about funny stories, relationships between you and the crew.
Aw, that makes me sad.
One of the people in the, this is going back to an earlier thread that we picked up on one of the, oh, I'm on a video conference with somebody. Hi. Hi, you must be sister to the person holding the phone, because you, it actually look, are you twins? No, actually, you do, okay. Hi, it's just you and me, there's nobody else here. She doesn't, no, she's not dying, she's fine. Yep. What? So she's talking to you, okay. So what were we talking about? So I said to Kelly in the costume department, I was like, it was Halloween Eve, and I said, would you be able to help with this costume? And she's like, Moira, come over here. She said, I'm too busy. And so Moira came over and I explained this. And then later Moira said, that Kelly told me that she had already taken on the mantle of working on Jared's family costumes. And Moira had come up to her and said, you are just too nice to these people. I would not do all of this stuff pro bono on the side. And then she had to do my costume. I didn't know the backstory on that. So anyway, I just wanted to, that's sort of a gentle way of explaining that we try to exploit the crew as much as possible. We have, it's a great set. I don't know what it is, it's kind of just lightning in a bottle, but this crew has gelled in a way, and the cast has gelled in a way that I think is probably pretty close to unparalleled. I mean, the show is going into, it's in its 11th season, and we have a huge, when we took a photo of all the people that had been there, episode 1, I think that was at the end of season 10, and it was amazing how many people had been there since season 1, and there's no explanation for that other than the fact that everyone gets along so well, because it's a brutal job. I don't know how the crew does it. I mean, they're logging incredibly long hours. They have, often 8, 6 hours at home between day. What? Good for them that they have power to them. That's true. All right.
What the hell?
She has a point. I'm not sure what it is, but it is a point. So they work. I mean, they'll work like 80 hours a week, and they'll do it week after week after week, year after year after year, and they don't get to see their families as much as they would like. But we have a great environment where people laugh a lot and make fun of each other a lot, and find creative ways to insult one another, and it just makes it a fun place to go to work. So I didn't give you a very good specific story, but it's a general overview of the experience there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hi, Misha.
We don't really have hecklers that often. I kind of like it. Yes.
Hi, I'm Ashley. My question is what is Castiel's favorite holiday and why?
What is Castiel's favorite holiday? Veterans Day. Cass is pretty bonkers for Columbus Day. I don't know what it is. He just loves getting dressed up and celebrating the decimation of the Indian population. Why do we still have Columbus Day? What's that? That's true. Although he did a pretty good job of knocking out a lot of natives. I don't know. That's a good question. Do you have thoughts on this subject? There's some good answers there. National Pizza Day, Dean's birthday. Those are good. What? Perfect. National Pizza Day. We've arrived at consensus here.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, so my questions kind of involved, excuse me looking at my phone, because I thought I would get nervous and need it.
Okay, all right. Okay. You have a pardon on this.
Okay, so this might be kind of a tired subject, but obviously there's kind of a lack of women in significant and lasting roles in Supernatural. We had Ellen and Joe and Charlie, Jody, who's still not dead but doesn't come up that much, and Rowena, but everyone's trying to kill her. And it's kind of odd to me because obviously the fan base is a large percentage of them are female.
I don't know about that. I don't know where you're getting your statistics here.
And you guys all seem like very compassionate people committed to equality with Gishwas, Random Acts, always keep fighting and whatnot. But there's still this disparity in gender, and do you think that exploring male relationships with them being vulnerable and complex is as important? Like, it's a rare thing on TV. Do you think that that's something that justifies the lack of women, or do you think it can be done with women? And do you personally want more women in Supernatural?
Let me first of all, I just want to be forthright about this. I don't like women as a rule, so I don't. Can you imagine? It's just that we don't like women. Sorry if there was some confusion around that earlier. No, I think that the show has grown. We get questions like this fairly often, and I think that the show has evolved quite organically. There was a time, and I really do think the show is largely about the complex relationships between men. It's about a certain sort of bond. I mean, the fact that the two anchoring characters on the show are brothers, and it's about brotherhood, and I think that expands to a sort of circle of masculine characters on the show. It's a show kind of about brotherhood, and I think that evolved organically. There was not a time when anyone was like, let's get rid of the women. Because those guys are so much hotter. Let's just get those women off the screen so we can look at Dean and Sam more.
Good answer.
But I think that season 3 is a good example. Like the network said, "Hey guys, why is this so gender unbalanced? Let's put female characters in the show," and it just didn't. It wasn't the right fit. It wasn't what this story is about, and it just didn't fit. And I think that the characters that stick around on the show are the characters that fit into the overall story arc of the show. The writers on Supernatural are, as a group, very progressive, very, equality-minded people who I don't think have a bent against women. So I don't think there's an agenda there. I think it's also interesting to note that the audience here is 98.35% female. So there is something in this organic evolution of the show that appeals to, the female audience. Like there's something about watching this brotherhood of men that actually works for this audience. So I think it's okay. I think that there's of course room for, great female characters, but it's interesting also to note that like the female characters that have had lasting power on the show, and I think that that's kind of there's a kind of interplay between the audience and the story. If the audience really responds to a character and really embraces a character and loves that character, it I think helps foster longevity for the character. And I think that might operate unconsciously for the writers, but they see, wow, everybody really loves this Rowena character or this Jodie character, and Charlie, but interesting to note also that like Charlie, she wasn't like a love interest to the boys. She was, in a way, she was a female, but she was also a part of the brotherhood in a way. And the same goes for Jodie. They're characters that fold into, I think, that bigger gender theme. Weirdly, I've thought about this a lot, and because I had that question too. I was like, why aren't there more women on the show? What's wrong with this show? And I feel like I've come to that answer about it. So.
Good answer. Good answer. Yeah.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Okay. My question is, what's the best prank Jared or Jensen have played on you?
Well, that's sort of an oxymoronic question because there are no good pranks that they've played on me. They're all bad pranks that sort of reveal that they're men of low character.
Pennies.
There's not with great senses of humor. Just men of low character. So when this is a theme that actually is repeated on the show for me. So when I was directing, I was terrified because I knew that they were planning stuff, and apparently they had a strategy session. So they had huddled together, they had taken notes from the crew, they had assembled an agenda for things that they were going to do to me while I was directing, which included, like trashing my apartment and various different things. And I had a couple of moles on the crew. People would be like, Misha, come here for a second, come here for a second. Don't tell anyone I told you this, but don't leave your keys anywhere. Don't keep your keys on you. And I told the front desk in the apartment building that I was in Vancouver not to let anyone under any circumstances into my apartment while I was directing. I made sure that my car was locked and parked far away from set. I took all kinds of precautions. I made a duplicate of my directing script so that your script as a director has lots of notes, and I knew that would be an early and easy target. So I had it photocopied, and I had it photocopied twice. My script was in fact destroyed. But so this is a theme that recurs, which is that Jared will do something. So Jared was messing up his lines, and the way the set was set up, like this, it was a Men of Letters scene, and if this is the set right here, the monitors are back behind the curtains. And so I'm sitting at the monitors watching, listening on headphones, and we were doing take after take, and Jared kept messing up his lines, which is unusual. He's very good at not messing up his lines. And I was like, all right, cut. And I wanted to just sort of take a minute here and let him, organize his thoughts, because for some reason he was messing up. So I walked through the door, and as I came through the door, he was standing right here,
With the pie.
and he had a pie in his hand, and he went, and just nailed me. But I had just a flash in my eyes of the body language as the projectile approached me, and it was full on hip, shoulder. It wasn't like that. It was like, like in a martial art when they tell you to try to hit through the object, right? He was going to fucking destroy me with the butt. So
I love when Misha swears.
luckily, he hit straight on in such a way that it distributed the impact in such a way that I didn't get a broken nose from the event. But it just blasted past my face and into my hair and everything. And everyone laughed, and it was captured on film, of course, because the reason he was messing up was to stall everything so that the camera crew could get ready to film the whole thing for me. They're so great. And then I got cleaned up and got changed, and Jensen was like, "Hey man, I'm sorry that he really did. Are you okay?" And Jensen often does this. He often is like the one, "Hey, I'm sorry that this is I don't know what's going on." And then I was like, "Thanks, man. Yeah, whatever. It's all in good fun." And then I grabbed my script, walked outside, and Jensen said, "Hey, Misha." And I turned around. Another pie in my face, which is a comment. I've fallen for that more than once, where Jensen's like, "Come here, I'll take care of you. I don't know what is." And then he goes and does the same thing, or worse.
Them sneaky bastards.
You took the words right out of my mouth. Hi.
My name's Abby, and my question for you is, do you like to ice skate or ski or snowboard? And if so, how good do you think you are?
Well, I would say excellent. And I used to be a skier, but then I switched over to snowboarding. I would say, on a scale of 1 to 10, as a snowboarder, I'm shitty. My ice skating is a little bit better. I trained in college. My wife and I trained with an Olympic silver medalist in ice dancing, believe it or not. So I can skate backwards on figure skates. That is true. I'm a reasonably good ice skater. I am a reasonably bad snowboarder, but I enjoy both. How about you?
I play hockey.
You do? How long have you been playing hockey?
About a year and a half.
How's that going?
It's really fun.
Is it a mixed sex team or is it a women's team?
I'm on a co-ed team.
Are there a lot of women hockey teams now?
Yeah.
That's awesome. There were, when I was a kid, there were not a lot, but that's great.
And actually one of my teammates is here right now.
Where is your teammate? Hi, teammate.
Yeah.
I played street hockey once, so I know what it's like. Street hockey is you just have a hockey stick and there's a ball and some sort of a makeshift goal, and I was not the most coordinated 11-year-old, and I ran like this into a wall with the end of the stick in my solar plexus and passed out. That's the only time I've ever played.
So graceful.
Thank you.
Fancy that.
Thank you. I feel like I'm revealing a little too much today about myself. Hi.
Yeah, I'm Misha. Since you've had your hand in directing, will you be directing any more future episodes?
I hope so. I think I'm currently slated to direct a couple of episodes in season 16. I would like to direct more. I'm not going to direct in this season, and the future seasons, if there are any, are TBD. So we'll see. But I will lobby for that.
Thank you.
And it would be great if you could write a letter or something.
We can start a petition.
Great. I'm slowly formulating some plans to try to direct an independent feature in the next year and a half or so. So, would love to do that. It definitely exercises a different part of the brain, and it's really gratifying. It's a lot of fun. I've always known that I like to boss people around, but I just didn't know how much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi, Misha. My name is Danelle.
Hello.
Yes, hello. So you've inspired so many of us with your philanthropy work, and I know that we've really gotten behind Random Acts. Can you tell us of anything that's coming up with them that's exciting that you want us to get involved with?
With Random Acts?
Yeah.
Well, myself and a bunch of volunteers and Oscar Chow are all going to Nicaragua in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So that is exciting and
Yay.
very present for us. I met a young woman here who is going to be on that trip.
Right here.
Hi, Stephanie. You were not the young woman I was talking about, but
I haven't met you yet today.
I didn't know you were here, so there you go. Who was the other young woman that Hi, Taylor. Good to see you again. So we're going to Nicaragua. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be off the hook. It's going to be more badass than the green room was earlier. Yeah, my last trip down to San Juan del Sur, Nicaragua was memorable. So I'm excited to go back. I'm not going to tell the whole story, but I was there over 10 years ago, and I was sort of chaperoning a high school delegation. Two of the kids were medevaced. I had bacterial dysentery. I was stung by a scorpion.
Oh yeah, I am.
It was awesome. Oh, and the work that we were doing was demolition work in an attic crawl space.
Oh,
and
God.
It was 100 degrees and 90% humidity, and the space was so tight, and so dark and so tight, and that we had to cut off the handle of the sledgehammer.
Oh.
Because you couldn't swing a full sledgehammer. So I was sledgehammering in what felt like a sauna. It was awesome. So we're going to try to do more of that kind of stuff. You guys are going to be psyched that you signed up. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Whatever you say.
Yep. And then I have an exciting partnership possibly coming up with Random Acts that hopefully will be announced in December that could be really awesome. So, yes, but I can't tell you what that is because it's, because I don't really remember what it is, but because it's a secret. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Hello, Misha.
Hi.
I'm going to risk assassination here by asking, as we know that most likely Supernatural will be over at some point, I told
What the fuck are you talking about? Shame on you.
I'm old, I know these shows.
Next thing you're going to tell me there's no Easter Bunny.
Well, yeah. No, so there are some of us that are actually seriously really worried about you and your adorable little kids and what you're going to do because
How we're going to get by because we have no useful skill sets. They never talk about that, like job retraining for out-of-work sci-fi actors. What happens to them? They're completely useless for there's no other application.
Conventions.
No, seriously.
Well, what are you going to put on your resume? I can stand awkwardly close to people. Nobody wants that, We're past our prime. That's a good point. That is a good point. So you're thinking I should do some continuing ed stuff right now? Start thinking ahead, like get my typing speed up for starters.
I'd like to see you act in other things.
Stripper? Not a bad idea.
He can
That's what all middle-aged actors should do. Once they're used up on teenage-oriented television networks,
Okay, direct.
go into stripping. It would have to be sort of like dark, obviously a dark, very dark venue, and you would have to make sure that nobody brought in night vision goggles. But otherwise, I think it'd be a big hit. It would be basically geared toward the blind, basically. But there would be a strict no touching policy.
Are you saying you don't know?
It would be hard, though, for there to be real accountability there, because how would people even know you were naked, for sure? They're not allowed to touch you, and they can't see you. They just have to take your word for it. Look, if you have enough integrity and people trust you, they'll know that you're naked. I actually think this could work. We should brainstorm more often. Thank you.
Hi, Misha.
Hi.
My name's Haley.
Hi, Haley. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
My question is, now that we know Sebastian's drag queen name, what do you think Cass's would be?
Probably something along the lines of angel or feather. I'm sorry, I don't know. I feel out of the loop now. What's his drag queen? What?
Cassiopeia.
Cassiopeia is his? That feels like it should be mine.
He stole it from you.
I feel like I should be able to usurp that from him and have that be mine. How was Sebastian's panel today? Was it good? Was it pretty family friendly?
Sure. This family. Yeah.
Did you bear the brunt of some of his salacious advances? What?
Another Haley.
Oh, another Haley. Okay. Ah, lucky girl. She was 7? Now, just to be clear, Haley, I meant lucky just because you would draw one of the lottery numbers. Obviously, that's what I meant. Hi, Haley. This would be a great time for one of those Men in Black apparatus. Hey, guys, just... We good? Okay. Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, thanks for asking.
I was just wondering, with the holidays coming up, I was wondering if there would be more episodes of my second favorite TV show, Cooking Fast and Fresh with West and me.
I sincerely hope so. I do like doing those with him, and he's been getting into some pretty marginal cooking practices lately that would be very film-worthy. So, Halloween this year was very scientific. Everything was unwrapped, and there was a decision that had to be made, which was, does this fit into the chocolate category or the not chocolate category? And basically, if it had any traces of chocolate in it, it's in the chocolate category. If it's brown, it's also chocolate. Everything else went into the other category. It was a big thing, like at the outset, walking back from trick-or-treating, it was like, how are we gonna get the popsicle sticks off the popsicles? Or the lollipop sticks off. Because last year we blended them all up and made a smoothie and just ate the paper. And that, he didn't want to repeat. He felt like that had been a mistake. So we devised a system where we smashed stuff still in the wrapper and then peeled it open. And then we